Well, it is Chiefs week. Hey, Buffalo Bills fans, welcome to the NFL week number 9. And our Buffalo Bills are taking on the Kansas City Chiefs, which, looking across the map of games today, it is the far and above the biggest game of the week. A lot of these other games, looking at some of the spreads this week, are blowout central, I think, based on how the bettors are feeling about it. But let's get into it and let's talk about it. So, welcome to the show. As always, I'm Mike with the 716 Sports Entertainment, joined by Mr. Sean O'Neill. And Sean, how are we feeling going into this 425 kickoff for the game of the week against the Kansas City Chiefs?
So for our annual Chiefs game, normally I feel pretty good about this kind of game because for some reason the Bills can beat them in the regular season, but not the postseason.
Mhm.
Um, but this year has definitely, after those two big losses to New England and Atlanta, it definitely soured me on my thoughts towards this week. Last week improved that a little bit with how it looked like the defense was a completely different defense out there. And I think they have more of a chance than I was originally going to give them this week. I thought Kansas City was potentially going to steamroll them. But if the defense can come out and play the way they did last week, I think that they have a chance to win. It's going to hinge on whether or not Joe Brady is smart enough to just keep handing the rock to James Cook, or if that doesn't work the way they need to figure out what the hell's going on with this passing game.
Yeah. So let's start on the defensive side of the ball. I think, you know, I think Hairston being back, and I think he's going to get more snaps today, is a good thing. He looked great last week.
Yep.
I mean, I know it was against Andy Dalton and not the best receivers in Carolina, but with that said, I think he had speed, which I think is important, right? And having Hoyt back, having Ogunjobi back, I think having this defense just look a little bit more to form. I mean, it does suck about Ed Oliver. It's probably done for the season. Um, but I think that that is going to help them a lot, right? Like I think that I still don't know. They've never really had been able to get to Mahomes, and I don't think that that changes much today. Um, but I think that will help them a little bit, right? I would imagine you're going to have Harrison all over Rashi Rice. Like that's
Yes.
probably where he's going to be for most of this game. You got to imagine. Um, so with that said, I think I feel, to your point, a little bit better about this Bills defense going up against this really potent Chiefs offense.
Um, I mean, it sucks. That Oliver injury is huge considering how good he had been looking this year. I will say, however, this gives an opportunity to tease favorite player on the Bills to step up and try to fill in that with the loss of Oliver there in Gregory Rousseau.
Yeah.
It would be nice to see him maybe take the initiative and pick up his game a little bit there. I think as far as the defense goes, my biggest concern with this Chiefs team is it's not just Rashee Rice who's fast though. It's Xavier Worthy, it's
Hollywood
Hollywood
Brown.
Brown, and I don't know that the Bills have enough players that are fast enough to keep up with them. And with
Mhm.
the way that Kansas City loves to play to call like pick plays that the refs refuse to call, I'm just a little bit worried about that coming back to hurt us.
Yeah, I mean, you're probably right, but I mean, and we'll get into the offense in a second, but the way the defenses are looking so far, I mean, the Bills are in the top 10 for points allowed per game, right? Which is good. The Chiefs are second though, so that's obviously a little bit rough for Josh Allen and the team. But then again, both of these teams score a lot. Minus the 2 weeks that the Bills lost, the Bills have put up a lot of points. The Bills are still, just racking it up on teams quite a bit. And the Bills run defense is one of the worst in the league, but again, Kansas City doesn't run the ball well. So I think like that's fine there, but we are great, number 2 actually at passing yards allowed per game.
Yeah.
So, that's huge for us because that's what this team does a lot. And I don't know. I feel Like looking at these two defenses and looking at the numbers, obviously the Bills' rushing defense is not great, but they've also had a lot of just big runs that happened to them. The Patriots got one. The Ravens got a couple of them. Miami got a couple of them. So like the Bills just seem to get run on. So I'm not like super worried about that. This Chiefs team doesn't run the ball well. So for the most part, it like just looking at the numbers, statistically, these defenses look relatively even.
Yes, I mean, especially with Pacheco out for the Chiefs, that's a big loss to their running game. And I mean, I think the best comparison or description of the Bills' defense I can make is they feel kind of like a bend but don't break defense.
Mhm.
Where a lot of these games, these first half, I know you and I have both been losing our mind over giving up some of these big plays, but then in the second half, it feels like they clamp down. And it feels like it takes a little while for them to get in the rhythm of what these teams are throwing at them before they lock them down. Like I didn't realize honestly that the Bills were in the top 10. With how bad the defenses looked a couple times in like the first halves, I would have said that they were outside the top 10.
Yeah. No, I mean, that's how the numbers look now. And I mean, I'm sure it obviously stats will get skewed a little bit after this game, but I guess we'll have to wait and see how that defense can hold up against, probably its biggest test of the year, right? Like this is the best
Yeah.
quarterback they're going to go up against all year. I mean, we all kind of love to like make fun of Mahomes and stuff like that, but they're a good offense this year.
Yep.
They were not last year. They were not a good offense this year, but Mahomes has, he's stepped up his game this year and their offense looks a lot better this year. It really does look it does look potent. So going to the other side of the ball, though, um, you know, the Bills and the Chiefs are close in points per game. The Chiefs hovering around 27, the Bills hovering around 29. Overall offensive yards per game, they're both close. Overall, passing yards, the Chiefs are a bit ahead of the Bills, but then the Bills are number one in the league in rushing yards per game, ahead of the
Well, after that
Colts.
game last week.
Yeah, especially after that game last week. Time of possession, they're almost even. Third down defense, they're almost even. So, I mean, um, I think this game, for everyone who's been saying that they think the Chiefs are just going to roll the Bills, I don't think that's going to happen. I think that this game is going to be much closer than people think it will be, and I bet it's decided by a field goal.
Seems like a lot of these ones are. I think that the way you slow down the Chiefs offense is by getting to Mahomes. So if they can get to Mahomes, that will definitely help. Um, on the Bills offense, they really need to be able to get out there and have extended drives and help out their defense by keeping Kansas City's offense off the field. So if they can get out there and have some 10, 9 to 10 minute drives, like take up as much time as you can on the offensive side of the ball. And I mean, the Chiefs can't score if Mahomes isn't on the field. You know what I mean? As
Mhm.
often, I should say, because I mean, obviously there's defensive points to be had, but I just I'm concerned that with the Bills last week having the massive rushing game that they did, that Kansas City is going to clamp down on that on their defensive side and force us to throw the ball.
Oh, they
And
will. They're going to blitz like
I'm just
crazy.
I'm a little bit worried about that just because of what we've seen so far out of the passing side of the Bills.
So I want to look at the last few games for both of these teams. We'll start with the Bills. Obviously, the Bills just thrashed Carolina last week. Like they ran all over them, and that was never even a close game. And then before the bye, we had that Atlanta game, which I have said numerous times on this channel. We are going to look back at the end of the year as that being the worst loss this team had all
Yep.
year because I think Atlanta stinks, and the fact that they blew it to that team is embarrassing. I think the Patriots loss that was close, and Josh Allen had the ball at the end of that game with a chance to win it. And you know what? Looking at the Patriots, although they beat up on a lot of bad teams, the Patriots are a good team. They're 6-2, and I think that they're probably going to get another win again today against a crappy Atlanta team. So, I think we're going to be chasing the Patriots all year. And we need to definitely, when we play them again in a few weeks, we need to get that win. That's going to be huge
Yep.
for the Bills to get that win against the Patriots. But looking at the Chiefs' last couple of games, they played Washington, which was close until it got out of hand late, and Jaden Daniels didn't play in that game.
Yep.
So, I mean, they played Marcus Mariota, and it was 7-7 in the third quarter, so it got out of hand when the Commanders went for some fourth downs and didn't convert, and the Chiefs got short fields and 28-7. The Raiders stink.
Yep.
So like I don't even want to count that game because the Raiders are terrible. They got what, two first downs in that entire game.
Yeah.
Geno Smith had negative yards of offense. I mean, yikes, right? And then the Lions game, where I think, frankly, the Lions got cheated by the officials.
Yep. 100%.
So yeah, I don't know. I don't really know what to make of Kansas City. They kind of looked like Baltimore in these last two games, how Baltimore looked last year, where they smoked really bad teams, right? Like I will give them the Detroit win. I mean, I know the refs helped them a lot in that game, and yeah, I'm not going to be Mr. like officials, on this channel, but I'm still furious about that bullshit touchdown at the beginning of that game against the Lions that was like taken away from the Lions for no reason whatsoever. Um, but that was a month ago. So, but you beat up on two really bad teams, and now everybody thinks you're the best team in the league. Like the Colts beat up on bad teams every week. The Patriots beat up on bad teams every week. But you don't see people like, and I get it. The Chiefs perennially go to the Super Bowl, but let's pump the brakes on the Chiefs a little bit here. Like they beat up on bad teams. The Raiders are bad. Washington without Jaden Daniels is bad.
I think the most frustrating thing when you play the Chiefs, though, is not just the way that like the officials, or not the officials, but like the commentators talk about the Chiefs and having to listen to that for the whole game as fans of the other team playing them, but the officiating for these games. I mean, it's a home game, so maybe we will see less of it, but how is it that you and I have talked about this before? It's not so much the penalties that are called, but the timing of the penalties and how it helps the Chiefs.
Mhm.
And you can always almost count on there being a penalty. Like if the opposing team's about to pick up a first down, oh, penalty, it's coming back. Like anytime you play the Chiefs, it feels like you're playing two teams. And that's just frustrating to watch as a fan.
Yeah. And I don't want to get into like, I know we could spend all day talking about the officials and like I don't really want to get into that because at the same time it is soft, like play better, but also yeah, it does suck, and there's a lot of marketing behind it. And hell, if you watch college football, like, you can absolutely speak to how, and one day we will talk about this gambling thing that went on in the NFL or
Yeah.
the NBA rather. But there's definitely something to be said for that a little bit because like, you know, every week in college football, you see ranked teams lose to no-name schools where they are 20, 30-point favorites. That should not happen. That should not happen at all.
Occasionally, maybe, very
It's
rarely, but
happened every week this year. And it seems like it gets worse every year. And like I attribute that to officiating and gambling and a variety of other things. And so I don't know. It's a lot harder, I think, to control that in the NFL. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I think there's so many of these games in college football where there's just not enough eyes on some of these games for anybody to like really care about it. Like honestly, how many people really gave a crap about Houston and West Virginia yesterday? Houston was a 20-point favorite going into that game by West Virginia, and they lost by 10.
really.
You know, yeah. So like, you know what I mean? So, and I'm sure people who live in that area can like, quote me a ton of statistics that I didn't know about, such and such, wasn't playing or whatever else like that. But the Vegas spread makers are not stupid, right? Like they
No.
don't make spreads like that and then just expect everybody to bet one side. So yeah, I don't know. It's just interesting to me. But I think the NFL is definitely a little bit harder to fix, but that doesn't mean they don't make attempts at it.
Yeah.
But anyway, we are going way off track. So we will take some time to go around the league here and give you guys our best bets as well. But I don't know. I feel good. I think about going into this game, and I hope that, I obviously hope that the Bills can pull it off. I think they desperately need to win, I think more than the Chiefs do, but I don't know. Where are you at with that?
So I want the Bills to win, but I'm also a realist. I won't be heartbroken if they lose just because of how this team has looked and because it's the Chiefs. But I'm definitely pulling for them to win. What is the line on this game?
Chiefs are favored by 2. The line is 52.5.
I would definitely take the over on this. And you know what?
I don't know if I would,
I mean, both of them put up points, right?
but do you think both of them are going to be able to put up points against each other?
Yeah, you know what? 52 is kind of high. You know what?
Both of
Take the
the
over.
both of these defenses are
Top
close.
10.
Yeah, I mean, top half at least in almost every statistical category except the Bills' rushing defense. But as we've discussed, that's a negligible factor for the Chiefs. So
Yeah, I would say take the under, and I think I'm going to take Buffalo.
yeah, I think I agree with you. I think the under and I think the Bills no, no, I think the Chiefs are probably gonna win. I think it's probably going to be as much as I agree with you. I want the Bills to win more than anything because I hate the Chiefs. But I think the if you're a betting person, I think the Chiefs -2 and the under is good here. And then I also like James Cook to score, and I like Rashi Rice to score.
I think Buffalo's going to win by a field goal.
I hope you're right.
So Buffalo by the with the points, and I agree that Cook is going to score, and I think you're going to see a Xavier Worthy score.
I like it. I like it. So we got a bunch of games going on around the league today, and as I mentioned at the kickoff of the show, there are quite a few large spreads this week. Like a lot of large spreads
Yeah.
this week. We're going to talk about some of those, but we'll just go in the order of the ticker that I have up here. So to start, we have the Denver Broncos, who are 6-2, visiting the 3-4 Houston Texans. The line for this one is Houston favored by 2.5, and the total is 40, exactly 40.
Houston is
So
favored
Houston is favored at home over Denver.
still.
Yeah.
That seems insane to me.
Well, Sertan is out for Denver. I know that. And Houston's been better lately. They had a great game last week against the 49ers. They seem to have figured out their offensive line issues a little bit. I think this might be a trap game for Denver.
I mean, didn't Denver just drop like a billion points on whoever they played last week?
Dallas.
Yeah,
But I
they
mean,
crushed them.
Dallas has one of the worst defenses in the league.
Yeah, but Denver's offense isn't that great. I mean, Denver's team is built around that defense and how good that defense
That
is.
got a bunch
So,
of turnovers against the
okay.
Cowboys, and that score got out of hand late.
As much as I would like to see Houston upset them here because it's still an upset in my book. I think Denver's defense is still too good, even without Sertan. I just don't think Houston has enough answers to that. So I think Denver wins. And you said the spread was 40.
Mhm.
I would say under.
Yeah, both of these teams have really good defenses. I predict a very low scoring game. Maybe it hits the over late, but this game just screams like 10-7 going into the half.
Yep.
So yeah, I mean, I honestly, for rooting interest too, I mean, truthfully, you root for Denver to keep winning games because it keeps the Chiefs out of a home
Yep.
playoff game, right? So yeah, I mean, I think I continually root for Denver to keep winning games. Um, Next, we go over to Pittsburgh and Indianapolis. This game is in Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh is 4-3. The Colts are 7-1. The line for this one is the Colts are favored by 3.5, and the total is 51.5. Um, I like the over here a lot. The Colts are averaging like 35 points a game. The Steelers are averaging like 25 points a game. I could see this game getting to 60 easy. And I know you had mentioned you kind of are feeling a certain way about the Steelers, so I'll let you get into it, but I think the Colts are just going to roll them.
I think Pittsburgh upsets Indy this week. I think this is the week you see Daniel Jones start to come back down to earth. And Pittsburgh always seems to win like goofy games. Aaron Rodgers hasn't looked terrible for the most part. I like Pittsburgh here, and I agree with you. I like the over.
Okay. Um, Next we have probably the worst game of the weekend. The San Francisco 49ers visiting the New York Giants. This is what I'm going to call the Hospital Bowl.
Yeah,
Yeah, these two teams, man, like injury after injury after injury. You know, we don't know if Brock Purdy is going to play for the 49ers and the Giants, man. I mean, after losing Scatabo last week to losing what was the wide receiver who went down, the really good one?
neighbors.
Neighbors who went down, and the Giants still don't know where Ayuk is, and or the 49ers rather don't know where Ayuk is. And like I said, Mac Jones has been playing, so that's rough. 49ers are favored by 2.5, and the line is 48.5. I say probably take the under here and the 49ers probably just because the Giants are so decimated with injuries.
I couldn't agree with you more. The under for sure. And after the Giants lost Scatabo on that straight up dirty tackle last week, that pretty much ended any hope of them making any sort of attempt at a comeback. I mean, I really liked the dynamic between Jackson Dart and Scatabo and what they brought to that team. So it really hurts losing him. And it really angers me that they lost him to such a blatantly dirty play that the league didn't do anything about from a tackle that was banned by the league this year.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. Um, the next one is Chicago versus Cincinnati. Chicago's 4-3. The Bengals are 3-5. Chicago is favored by 2.5, and the line for this one is 51.5. That seems high, but the Bengals have been scoring a lot. And Chicago's defense is they're okay. They're middle of the road. I just don't trust Chicago's offense all that much, but I feel like the Bengals are like due for a letdown, I think, with how surprising the Bengals have been with Joe Flacco at the helm.
Yeah. So you think Chicago wins?
I think so.
I think that the under is a good call here. I mean, Cincinnati may score the points, but I don't think they'll score enough to get there. And Chicago, I don't think will score a ton. Honestly, I think this might be a low scoring game in general. And I think Chicago pulls off the win here as well.
Next, we go over to Foxborough, where the aforementioned Falcons are taking on the Patriots. The line is 4.5 here for the Patriots, and the total is 45.5 here. As I mentioned at the start of the show, I think New England's going to kill them. And I think New England easily covers this line. I think it easily goes over. New England's the number one passing offense in the league. And I think New England's going to score 30. And maybe the Falcons get to like 17.
I think it's going to go over, but I think Atlanta's going to pull off the upset.
Would that be something? Wouldn't that be absolutely something? These next four games we're going to talk about all have near double digit spreads, as I mentioned, earlier in the show. So starting off, we have the Carolina Panthers, who are 4-4, visiting the Green Bay Packers, who are 5-1-1. The line here is Green Bay 13, and the total is 43.5. I mean,
Over.
Green Bay is going to win. Um, but yeah, I probably would say the over two as well here.
Um,
43.5 seems low. I wonder what the weather looks like in Wisconsin today. Maybe that's why that total is so low.
yeah, that seems real low.
Carolina
Um,
can't really score though. I think Bryce Young is playing though.
yeah,
So if they get back to running the ball, maybe they can find their way to some points, but I don't
I
know.
mean,
I can't see how Carolina is going to be able to move the ball against that Packers defense, which is one of the best in the league.
Carolina though was starting to look better before Bryce Young went down. I mean, had Bryce Young not missed the game against the Bills, I think that game would have been entirely different. I mean, they had a winning record. When's the last time Carolina had a winning record?
I can't
And
remember. Yeah.
exactly. And I Green Bay also occasionally has like weird letdowns against weird teams. But I have to imagine they should win here, but I think Carolina covers the spread. Like I
13.
think with the points, I mean.
Yeah, 13's a lot of points
So
for
like
an
I
NFL,
think I would
for an
take
NFL game.
I think I would take Carolina with the points.
The next one is the Los Angeles Chargers heading to the Tennessee Titans. The line is 10 for the Chargers on the road, and the total is 44. Um, again, this is one of those games just like the last one. I think the Chargers are going to win easy here. I don't know how Tennessee can score points. Like Tennessee does not look good at all. They
No,
have no weapons at all, and the coaching is a mess there. The play calling is a disaster. I don't know what they're doing at all in Tennessee, and I think the Chargers are going to just roll them.
I think the Chargers are going to win by more than 10. Um, I think Chargers cover that 10 points that they're giving Tennessee. I would think the under on this one because Tennessee can't score, and Chargers I don't think need to score that much. But it sucks for Tennessee. You have a kid in there who you're trying to build a future around, and you can't even try to do that because you have nothing around him to attempt to build with. Like, you want to talk about a shitty situation to put your number one pick in? Like, he has no
Yeah.
one to throw the ball to. They have no running game. Like that if I were him when I came out of the draft, I almost would have pulled the Eli Manning and demanded to be sent to another team.
Yeah. I mean, this game just screams like it's going to be 31-7
Yeah.
or like 28-6.
Yep.
Like this is going to be a bad one. Like I don't know who's going to enjoy watching this one, but we'll see how it goes. And then to round out the 1 o'clock slate, we have Detroit favored by 9 at home, coming off a bye against the Minnesota Vikings, who look like JJ McCarthy is going to be starting. The line in this one is 48. I think Detroit's going to annihilate Minnesota coming off of the bye. Um, Minnesota is one of the worst teams in the league against the run. I think for a nice little prop bet, put Jamar Gibbs for an easy touchdown one here, and for him to have probably over 100 rushing yards.
I think Detroit's going to hit the over themselves probably coming off the bye. And just I mean, it'll be good for Minnesota to have McCarthy back because they did not look good at all without him in there.
Mhm.
But Detroit off the bye and looking as good as they have these last not just games but couple of years, their offense looks damn near unstoppable most of the time. So like I don't think Minnesota has a chance here.
Yeah.
And I don't think it'll be close.
No, I don't either. Getting to the 4 o'clock window, we have, besides the Bills game, we have two other games here. We have the Toilet Bowl in Las Vegas, where the Jacksonville Jaguars are going to be visiting the Las Vegas Raiders. The line is Jacksonville by 2.5, and the total is 44. This one's going to be ugly. I think this one's going to be a really, really ugly game. I honestly have no idea who's going to win this game. Probably Jacksonville, but like Jacksonville's got a ton of injuries. I know Travis Hunter's hurt. Um, the Gino has just not looked good in a Raiders uniform. It's turning the ball over a ton. Maybe I don't know. I think Jacksonville should probably win this one just because they have the better quarterback, but look for this one to be ugly and maybe Jacksonville to get the win and for the under, I think here.
I'm actually taking the Raiders on the under just because they're at home. I think that if I'm the Raiders, I just keep handing the ball off to Ashton GT. And this, like you said, this game is going to be an absolute tire fire.
Yeah. And then the only other game rounding out the 4 o'clock window is the New Orleans Saints going to the Los Angeles Rams, who are also off a bye. And yeah, the Rams are favored by 14, and the total is 44. And Puka Nacua is going to be playing. So look for the Rams to annihilate the Saints. I think they might start off a little slow as the Rams usually do, but then I look for them to put the pedal to the metal in the second half. And I think that the 44 seems very low because this game's in a dome, so the weather doesn't matter. Look for the Rams to just pile it on here. I think the Rams win like 34 to, I don't know, 14 or something like that.
Much like I said with Detroit, the Rams are one of those teams that can pretty much cover an over by themselves.
Yeah.
And
And they
coming
got a
off
great
of
defense too.
yeah, coming off a bye and with Nakua back, they're going to just dominate. I think Nakua has 2 touchdowns in this game.
I agree. And then the nightcap is going to be the Seattle Seahawks visiting the Washington Commanders. I think Jaden Daniels is back for this game. And this West Coast team traveling east. I think this one's going to be tighter than people think. Seattle is favored by 3, and the line is 48.5. I love the under here, and I think Washington might upset Seattle here.
So
There is something to be said for West Coast teams traveling east.
you're right. But I got to stick with my number 2 team here with Seattle. And it wouldn't surprise me though if Washington did get the win, especially with Jaden Daniels being back and Seattle having to travel. I agree with you on the under for sure. But I think Seattle is one of the surprise teams this year. I think that division with both the Rams and Seattle are if San Francisco didn't have as many injuries as they did, that would probably be one of the best divisions in football this year.
I agree with you. I mean, I think the only other one that gives it a run for its money is the AFC West. I mean,
Yeah.
Green Bay and Detroit are good, but Minnesota is not, and I don't really think Chicago is.
No.
It's the same thing in our division too. Like we're good and the Patriots are good, but the Dolphins and the Jets are not.
Can we talk
So
about the Dolphins for a second? My God, that is just you want to talk about a horrendous team. So they fired their GM, right? I heard,
yes, they did.
which is a surprise to both you and I because with everything going on in the
That lawsuit,
legal
yeah.
world, yeah.
Mhm.
So does McDaniels makes it to the end of the season, right? Or do they fire him in season?
I think he makes it to the end of the season. Like, what are you hoping to accomplish by firing him mid-season? Right? Like you're 2-7. Like you're done. You're not making with how top heavy the AFC is right now, and how by the end of the day today, you're going to have one, two, three, four, almost every team that's in a playoff spot, except even if the Steelers find a way to beat the Colts, every team in a playoff spot will likely have 6 wins. How is Miami gonna catch up?
Yeah,
There's no way. Like you can't tell me that the Colts, the Patriots, the Broncos, the Bills, the Chargers, and the Chiefs are going to find their way to 7 losses. I don't think any of those teams are going to find their way to 7 losses unless one of them completely implodes. The
yeah.
only shot that they would have would be if they were in the division with Pittsburgh, Baltimore, and Cincinnati, because I think one crappy team is probably going to win that division, and probably is going to be Baltimore, to be completely honest with you.
You think they're
Um,
going to come back and win?
unless Pittsburgh finds a way to start playing a little better, I do. So
Yeah, no,
I
you're
so I think Miami's done. I don't think mathematically it's possible for them. They would have to win out and get help, and I don't think that that's going to happen. I think their season is over, and I think that they understand that. So there's no point right now, to firing him. I think you sell and get ready for the future.
and
You
then
get rid of Waddle, handful of other guys, and you just go from there.
they claim that Waddle is they'll listen to any trade offers, but Waddle is not allegedly available. Um, I mean, you got to at least keep some parts because otherwise you end up as Tennessee when you're trying to rebuild. But obviously with the GM out, a new GM coming in is going to want to put his own guy in there. So McDaniels is 100% days numbered, which is going to be unfortunate. I miss his dumbass press conferences. To win, you gotta win.
So yeah, so that is our show, guys. Thank you guys so much for joining us for the podcast. We hope you enjoy the game today. And it should be a good one. We're really looking forward to Bills Chiefs. And
The
with that,
Bills.
we will catch you guys tomorrow with our recap of the game and the week that was. And hopefully it'll be a prosperous Bills win and everybody is happy. So thank you guys so much for joining us. Have a great day, great NFL Sunday, and take care.